mass killing, extermination on basis of ethnic or religion or tribe, intentionality to do all of those things. Now, do we have that in Nigeria? And, you know, as it has been repeatedly said, some have opined that maybe it is not happening on a national scale, but maybe there are communities in Nigeria, especially North Central, suffering that, and you've seen serious, very gory images and videos coming, especially from Plateau and Benue. And some will say it is not new, even though it's terrible, that this has always been a pattern, and it is still going on right now. You know, Senator Ted Cruz, you know, raised that at the Congress in the US. You know, Mike Riley, some persons spoke very highly of that, and which US President Donald Trump, you know, over the weekend on his Truth social media platform, you know, corroborated that, and he said he has designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, CPC, not the political party. This is one more serious issue, country of particular concern, which means there might be international sanctions and pressure, you know, even from the Bretton Woods institutions, economic sanctions and all of those things, or profiling some of those politically exposed persons in Nigeria. Anybody that is found by U.S. intelligence to be culpable in all of this. And, you know, he went further to speak about what is happening and attack Nigeria, called Nigeria very terrible, harsh words, saying that disgraced country, and that has not sat down with Nigerians to say, why is he saying that? And he has even threatened to invade Nigeria if the people in charge, you know, put his acts together, you know, and protect everyone, especially his Christian, you know, brothers. That's the way he has said it. And Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, you know, highlighted, tagged that particular statement, especially this one you have on the screen, and say, yes, sir, Pete Hegseth is the defense secretary in the U.S., to say the killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and anywhere must end immediately. The Department of War is preparing for action. Either the Nigerian government protects Christians, or we will kill the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. And that has been generating so much ripples. The Nigerian government have responded to that to say, not under our watch, nothing. We uphold, and in that particular statement you have here, we uphold the right of every Nigerian, and we will work with the United States government and the international community to deepen understanding and cooperation and protection of communities of all faiths. Now, many groups and associations have been responding. For example, Afenifere on this day newspaper has been quoted to say Trump's threat aimed at forcing Tinubu to negotiate. And Tuga is the Minister for Foreign Affairs, saying state-backed religious persecution impossible under the Constitution. In fact, I saw that particular address of his where he held the Constitution to say, with this Constitution that they are governing the country with, nobody can be persecuted on the guise of religion in Nigeria. But then it has gotten a global dynamics to that. And this particular video you just had is one of those videos in which so many things has been said. You know, this is Reverend Ezekiel Dachom on the plateau saying the plight of his people and how they are helpless. And he, as a clergy, is tired. In fact, in this particular video, he said he's just coming from a place, you know, conducting burials almost every time, mass burial in mass graves, and that is what is happening. And he called it a genocide, even though there are Christians and Muslims that doesn't want it, according to him, you know, but that is what is happening. China, the People's Republic of China, has reacted to these statements, the alleged invasion or the proposed invasion of Nigeria by the US. And they are telling Nigeria, please, you should not, no gift for anybody, as they say it in the public space. And they have vehemently opposed the planned military action in Nigeria by the United States over alleged genocide against Christians. And they are reaffirming their support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as he leads the country through the current turbulence. The European Union yesterday expressed solidarity again with Nigeria, declaring full respect for the country's sovereignty and reaffirming its commitment to strengthen cooperation in peace building, interfaith dialogue, and human rights protection. This is where we are. We have a clergy in the house this morning, public affairs analyst, and if I will stay with those two caps just for this money as conversation, Reverend Canon Gokiomigbodu. He's also an architect, by the way. Good morning. Good
Thank you, Femi. It's my pleasure to be here.
This is where we are. China has responded. The EU, European Union has responded. Ecowas has spoken and said in fact, Ecowas said in West Africa, there is nothing like religious genocide. And many persons are watching them to say, what is really going on here? Especially the issue with China. They are, backing Nigeria against the US. Some are saying, don't let them turn Nigeria into a pawn. These are two superpowers having a go at each other. But before we go there, this is where we are. This allegation of genocide or persecution of Christians have been coming again and again. And I think it's becoming louder and louder with global responses to this. I need your impression of that. This is where we are right now.
Well, the truth is people are being killed in Nigeria. And either targeted or random and by coincidence, most of them have been Christians. But the truth is Muslims have been killed too. Animists have been killed too. And it seems ordinarily to somebody like me, I'm a politician, I'm a clergyman, that it has both political and religious dimensions. And that is why you would find that most of the places where those people have been killed have been places where, sorry, not just political and religious, there's also the economic and land dimension. So let me fully disclose who I am. I'm also an estate surveyor and valuer.
Yeah.
And so I recognize the land grabbing related to economic prospects of the people. And traditionally, in many other parts of the world, not just in Nigeria alone, especially in Africa, grazing and farming entrepreneurs have always been at loggerheads. The grazers want to just go onto any land, and then the farmers also want to protect their lands. Don't forget that you have the Tutsis and the Hutus also in Central Africa, and they have their own issues too. For us in Nigeria, the political dimension would, and we must tell ourselves the home truth. When certain persons wanted to win certain elections, according to allegations, which we believe largely to be true, they imported certain persons from the Futajalon. And these people came ordinarily homeless. They came into Nigeria. They did their bidding in making sure that that regime came to be. And after that, those people could not be settled. And therefore, they resorted to trying to see that they got lands on which they could stay. And in getting lands on which they could stay, they looked for places that ordinarily would be the food basket of Nigeria. By coincidence, those places happen to be in Benue and Plateau, where you have preponderance of Christians. And therefore, they are the ones that have been displaced. So, is there genocide? Please, let's admit it. There has been genocide. Is it targeted? Yes, targeted. Maybe ordinarily, not primarily on religious grounds, but because the places that these people will want to take over are lands being occupied already by Christians. So they move into those places. You've had, you showed us a clip right now of a priest telling of how many people he has buried. There is another priest that I saw some time ago who said everybody around the community had moved to the church. He was now a host to hosts of people who had fled their farmlands and had come to the place. So the genocide is there. And let me also remind you, if you are talking of genocide, usually there is the dimension of, is it being targeted? And are people being forced to do what they ordinarily would not want to do? Have you forgotten so soon the case of Leah Sharibu? This girl had been in custody since, I think, February 2018. That's more than 7 years now. And the only reason she wasn't released is because she refused to change her faith. And all the others that were captured and abducted with her opted to agree with their abductors that they were ready to change their faith. and they were released. So in reality, there has been genocide. Perhaps in reality, it's not only the Christians that have suffered, others have also suffered too. And unfortunately, look, we must tell ourselves the issue of religion is very delicate. But when issues like this arise, we must address such issues in all ramifications. We've forgotten that even in Kaduna State, the story of the Shiites and the Sunnis, the El Zakizaki, and that's just two Muslim sects. And we saw the way it was handled. We should be more accommodating of persons of other religions, and whenever issues arise like this, we should face them squarely. People are being killed. Most of them have turned out to be Christians. Whether Muslims or enemies or Christians, killings should stop. And the government of Nigeria should own up to the fact that people are being killed, and therefore it should stop. As close to us, you and I are speaking from your studio in Osogbo right now, as close to us, less than 100 kilometers away in Kwara, people were killed about 3-4 weeks ago. So what are we talking about? And so people are being killed, and Nigeria should own up to it.
Right.
And if we need help, let us get the help.
All right. Now, there is this issue on which many persons are quite angry with. Now, it has turned in some narrative to, oh, Christians are being killed, Muslims are being killed. Oh, how many persons are killed on their part? How many persons are killed on your part? And we are seeing it like it's a we versus them kind of situation. And the federal government is saying, you know, in some guise, even though tacitly, to say, yes, there are issues, there are security challenges, but it's not on religious ground. The issue is, should anybody be killed in this manner, even in the first place, even if they are atheists that doesn't believe in anything, actually, because it's, let's call it what it is, because we are speaking truth to power. Is it not shameful enough for you to say, yes, we know killings are going on, but is it only Christians? Is it only Muslims? That is what this conversation in some quarters have been reduced to.
Why should anybody be killed at all?
That's the question.
Why should my people be killed? In the family compound. Listen, in the family compound, where I am from, I'm not even talking of the larger Osogbo community. In Olobado compound in Osogbo, when I was growing up, I grew up, my father being a priest. So I'm not just a priest now. My father was a priest of the Anglican Church. And I had cousins who were Muslims and are still Muslims till tomorrow. And when it was Salah, we would all celebrate Salah together. When it was Christmas, we would all celebrate Christmas together. And there is this masquerader. They call it Tomboloki, so that people from Osogbo will remember. Tomboloki will get out of Oje compound. And the first point of call of Tomboloki will be to Olobado, my own family compound, to come and dance with their own cousins. And then all the children, not minding whether you are the child of a priest, will all come out and see, oh, what is happening here? And the children of the Bangboje, the immediate family of those related to the Tomboloki, will dance and everybody will cheer them. So now tell me, so you now say anybody should be killed. Is it my Bangboje cousins that should be killed?
Right.
Or my Alaji cousins? I don't want anybody killed. Or my immediate cousins that also attend church with me. No, nobody should be killed. What we should have should be tolerance. And then whatever it is, religious leaders too must also learn something. We must learn to preach peace. I have read virtually all books of religion, and we need to be careful to emphasize only those portions that talk about peace.
All right. Now, let's talk about this global dimension that this is getting. The EU in Nigeria, have responded to this matter, and they are reaffirming, saying they are reaffirming solidarity with Nigeria amidst Trump invasion threat. That is what the EU said. And the EU ambassador to Nigeria, Ecowas, Gautier Mignon, disclosed this in an interview with newsmen on Tuesday in Lagos, where he said solidarity with the victims of violence, with the authorities working to protect citizens, and with the Nigerian people who overwhelmingly desire peaceful coexistence. We respect Nigeria's sovereignty and constitutional commitment to religious neutrality and all of those things. ECOWAS is, reiterating the same point. China have come out to say, do whatever you want within your space. We are with you, and nobody should threaten another person. No country should threaten the other one. What do you think is going on here?
Well, since we have not handled our domestic affairs well, and that is negligence. Negligence on the part of the federal government and of its security agencies, that the killings have gone on unabated, and then it's now taking an outsider. Yeah. So once the outsiders are taking interest, of course other outsiders too will react, not necessarily because they actually love you or wish you well, but this is an opportunity to also flex muscles for them. And in any case, China had always had an eye on Nigeria, because China is always looking for places, well, not only China, also the United States of America, and all those dominant economic and the
Russias, the France.
They are looking for places that are rich in natural resources and mineral resources to take advantage of, starting first with pretext about sometimes religion. My being a priest will not stop me from telling the truth. Sometimes religion is the original outside motive, but lying under it, there are other things. And then they start taking our natural resources, including our human resources. So if China is now flexing its own muscles, and I weep for Nigeria, because by the time Nigeria and China first started our relations, the relationship between Nigeria and China dates back to when General Gowon was the head of state in 1971, about February 1971. Chief Obafemi Awolowo was the federal commissioner for finance and vice chairman of the, I think it was Supreme Military Council or whatever it was at that time. And I remember that I was in the primary school. I remember that Dr. Okoye Aripo, whose son was later my classmate at Government College Ibadan, was the federal commissioner for external affairs. And I've forgotten who was the federal commissioner for trade at that time. They all started having these discussions with China. At that time, China was almost at the same level with Nigeria. Whenever you are talking of superpowers then, you are talking of the Soviet Union and the United States of America.
What year was this?
1971. I was alive. I was in the primary school. I'm not telling you something
fables,
So that's why on and on, we started having strategic partnership with them, and then we call it super strategic partnership or whatever it is. And I remember that as recently as when President Muhammadu Buhari was head of state, he was actually going to make sure that we had some kind of trade relations. He announced it. It's only that it never happened, that we'll have some kind of trade relations with China that will make us exchange directly the Chinese currency
yen swap
initiative. Yes, without going through the dollar. But I don't know, that never really happened.
To that,
And now, would it be that this is an opportunity to see how that could be extended? Because now China had risen from the same level of ruins that we all were together in 1971. And I still remember as recently, for me it's recent, as 1980, 81, as an undergraduate, I read in the Time magazine and in so many other magazines we used to read then, of Chinese people being taken to the United States of America in crates, trying to escape the hardship in China and all that. Is it now the same China that has risen to now competing and talking when America is talking? And now they are talking about Nigeria, the pawn in the middle of them, It's a shame. I feel so sad. This is happening in all of my lifetime. I'm able to tell this history not because I read it, but because I witnessed it.
1971 is 54 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. I was in the primary school.
And here they are.
Yes, they've gone through all of this, and I dare say, I honestly believe that aside of propaganda, China is the biggest economy in the world today, bigger than that of the United States of America. And the day you take California out of America, in fact, China would dwarf America in an unimaginable way. So, and this is the same China that was virtually nowhere 54 years ago. So what we are trying to say is this: Nigeria too can rise. It's a shame that now we are now looking up to China and China, whether we are looking up to them, at least they are posturing for us to look up to them.
Solidarity. For
solidarity and all that. And what are they also looking for? Exploitation.
That's the question.
When will Nigeria protect its own? When will Nigeria make sure that our people are able to go to the farms? And if you check the trade relations between Nigeria and America, the United States of America, or the Americas generally, between Nigeria and China, ours is always about natural resources. When will we have value added? And everything that we import is our products that value have been added to, that of things that were originally extracted from Nigeria.
From here.
So when will we have those domestic industries in Nigeria? When will our electricity be right? When will our security be right?
All right.
The killing of people is about security. Once we have that security well sorted out,
handled,
and our electricity well sorted out, we should be talking almost at par with China and with the United States of America.
Well, one would say that's a tall dream, architect. That's a very tall one.
It is, but it can happen. Now, in my generation, that of China happened in my generation.
Yeah, the analogy here is this. Now that China is saying, let me even read a statement. Speaking in Beijing on Tuesday, China's foreign ministry spokesperson Mao Ning said the Asian nation remains firmly opposed to the use of religion or human rights as a pretext to meddle in the domestic affairs of foreign nations as Nigeria's comprehensive strategic partner. So that's posturing there. China firmly supports the Nigerian government in leading its people on the development path suited to the national conditions. China firmly opposes any country using religion and human rights as an excuse to interfere in other countries' internal affairs and threatening other countries with sanctions and force. By the way, I remember that even the same China is being alleged, to be, persecuting some Rohingya tribal people in some particular place. But here's the analogy. The posturing here, according to that statement, is China saying, we as your strategic partner. So they are putting themselves there as a big brother in a kind of way. And the analogy here is they saying to another big brother, or to the young brother here, or the son, Nigeria, to say, oh, this big brother, don't beat him. And they are telling the Nigeria here to say, oh, nobody can beat you, we are with you. And Nigeria is this size. And EU is not talking, in fact, many persons are discontenting whatever the EU, the Ecowas are saying, please go and sit down in all of these things, because many persons have not really seen the use of that Ecowas as far as this issue is concerned. EU are coming. And many of these persons putting up solidarity to Nigeria as against Trump is to say, don't let him come. Don't let him come. And here we are. Nigeria is saying, oh, it's not happening. No, this is not on a religious ground, although it is happening. And the world, some are for, some are against us. Should we be like relieved to say, at least China is for us, EU is for us? Does that cause for a relief? Or you think head or tail is still a shame?
Straight away, I'll tell you, head or tail, it's a big shame. It's a big shame because we are the subject of all these discussions because we are not handling our home affairs well. And external forces are having to come in.
But every nation usually have the allies, isn't it?
What kind of allies in this case? There are non-allied nations. and there are nations that are neutral enough to affairs and therefore have ambassadors in all nations so that they can have good diplomatic relationship everywhere. But most unfortunately, even as we are talking right now, Nigeria does not have any ambassador anywhere in the world.
None.
It's a big shame. I mean, so why will we not?
More than 2 years.
Yes. And how can you have a country? I think we are just an unserious people. Let's use the exact word. And we are not handling our domestics well, and we are also not putting a good picture to the outside world. Who is there in the United States of America to quickly go to the White House or go to anybody that needs to be talked to and say certain things, even if it is propaganda about Nigeria? Nobody. We don't have an ambassador to the United States of America. We don't have any ambassador anywhere for 2 solid years. And we keep on doing a lot of propaganda around here. These are issues that we need to think about, honestly. And I am not happy about it, that we are just the pawn, and we have made ourselves the pawn, and we are not even ready to get out of that position on the chessboard of world affairs, of just being the pawn and being tossed here and there and everywhere. And all that our leaders are interested in is that it is my turn to enjoy, and whatever is happening to the face of Nigeria or the internal affairs of Nigeria is of less concern to the people. Look, let me tell you, I honestly, in my heart of hearts, do not believe that the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is interested in anybody being killed. But I think they are also not interested in anybody either being killed or not being killed. They are just interested in enjoying their own life. So they will buy new presidential jets. They will buy a new yacht. They will buy a Cadillac for the president. And they are not worried whether there is domestic security, whether there is electricity, whether there is an ambassador to the United Nations or to the United States of America. They're not bothered about that. It is just, let us enjoy. Let us also position our children when the president is traveling, when the minister of the FCT is traveling, they take their sons along. As long as they are okay, they are not worried about the affairs of Nigeria. So it is not that they want ordinarily that the genocide should take place, but they do not care if the genocide takes place. So that is the problem that we have in this country. And I will always go back to the same point. This is always an opportunity for me to say, Nigerians should wake up. Stop selling your votes. For as long as you keep on selling your votes or you don't go out to vote at all, then all kinds of persons will be thrown up to your leadership. And when they are thrown up to your leadership, they can choose not to have ambassadors, and they choose to turn a blind eye to the genocide and to security breaches and to your insufficient electricity and to your not having good roads and all that. And let there be restructuring. That will be an internal thing. If we have restructuring, we'll be able to, and in fact, why am I even saying it is an internal thing? In the First Republic, Western region had its own agent general to the United Kingdom. And in fact, the office of the agent general of Western region to the United Kingdom is today the same office that the High Commission of Nigeria is using in London. So meanwhile, we could have had 3-4 offices of agents general and then have one real High Commission, and everybody would now be able to run affairs at their levels. So if there was now going to be Christianity facing existential threat, it will not be an issue of Nigeria. It will be maybe a region of it, and then the rest of us will be able to say, oh, let's see how we can solve this together. It will not be a Donald Trump all the way from another continent, so far away, tweeting, and then the whole world is now dancing around.
All right. I remember there are these tweets actually from 2014, and I'm looking at them right now.
Okay.
2:36 p.m., 14th of April, 2014.
Yes.
There was a tweet from Bola Ahmed Tinubu where he said, Nigeria's security situation is precarious. Nigerians are tired of excuses and explanations. They want protection for their lives and property, you know. And the other one, still from his X page, the slaughtering of Christian worshippers is strongly condemnable. It calls to question the competence of Jonathan to protect Nigerians. So these are two tweets. Unfortunately, we can't put that up now, but maybe by tomorrow. This was from 2014.
I'm glad that you were able to bring this
And
out.
Nigerians are now saying, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, can you refer back to those things you tweeted in 2014
and these are
and
the
act on
issues.
them?
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
You have said this before.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was with us in Afenifere. Forget it. He's no longer with us. Those people that he goes around with that call themselves Afenifere, they are just they are just situational Afenifere.
He's with Baba Fashoranti now.
Well, you are the one saying it.
We have always been seeing him going to greet him, isn't it?
Well, you are the one saying it. Because
I'm not the one saying it. It's a
Femi, Baba
public knowledge.
Baba Fashoranti is my father.
Yeah.
His two sons, Taiwo and Kainde, while my classmates at Government College Ibadan, I still saw Taiwo, the one that is SSG, about a week or two ago. We were together in a reunion. The late daughter, Funke, we all used to play together. The point I'm trying to say is this, that even if I don't agree with those who have misled, I believe Baba has been misled. Who have misled Baba Fashoranti.
Okay.
Because Baba Fashoranti was leader of Afenifere and he voluntarily left the place for Ayo Adebanjo, and Ayo Adebanjo passed on and handed over to Oladipo Olaitan.
Okay.
And what we had in the original Afenifere now being led by Oladipo Olaitan with what I call apostolic succession. That's what I call it. From Obafemi Awolowo through the likes of Ajashin and Adesoya.
We have like 30
yes,
seconds.
and eventually now we have always believed in so many things, and many of those things that we believed in, when Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then governor, was with us in Afenifere, he mouthed a lot of these things too. Part of it is what we have just read in his tweets in 2014. Part of it is restructuring. Part of it is making sure that we have state police, we have so many things doing well, going well for the people, the economy growing. But is he doing anything about any of those things anymore? Look, the meaning of Afenifere is welfareism. That's what it means. And anybody that believes in the welfareist ideology of Obafemi Awolowo will not go and start something like Nel Fund that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing now. When Obafemi Awolowo put on page 57 of his book, The Strategies and Tactics of the People of the Federal Republic, that any nation in Africa, let me land on this, any nation in Africa that gives education loan is cruel. And you know, so it's not only on that tweet. So many things that Afenifere would believe in, exact opposite direction is what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going right now. So now, he is not an Afenifere. Forget it.
Okay. Interesting place to
He's no longer an Afenifere.
Interesting place to leave it there. And by tomorrow, we'll put those tweets up, and Nigerians are telling him, take a recourse back to what you tweeted, especially when you say Nigeria's security situation is precarious. Nigerians are tired of excuses and explanations. They want protection for their lives and property. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you should read this tweet again, because Nigerians are tired.
And act upon it.
And act upon it. Either it's a genocide, or it's targeted, or it's not. Nobody deserves to die the way people are dying right now. That is staking Donald Trump, to make everybody to be sneezing and coughing right now. Thank you very much, Architect Goke, for the time of your take. It's always interesting to speak with you. And by the way, we make a return tomorrow. But in breaking news, as far as global news is concerned, Zoran Mamdani has won the New York's mayoral race. So he's now the New York mayor, beating Andrew Cuomo and others. So 34-year-old Democratic Socialist and are just progressives in the city. Mamdani, Democrat Zoran Mamdani is the new, there you go. Is the new mayor.
Congratulations. I have congratulated the House on Radio. So congratulations for the 10 years of Rave family.
Yeah.
I think WSTV was 5 years. 4 years.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
And myself, you didn't congratulate me.
Yes.
I won the best
Yes, you won. Thank you for reminding me. Congratulations, Femi. I'm always proud of you.
Thank you,
I'd always followed you since when I met you at that radio station.
Team said,
yeah. And
thank you very much.
You've been my delight.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate this. All right.
And I'm jealous of your complexion. Very handsome young man.
All right. Nigeria is ours, and we must speak truth to power. Femi Oje is my name. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.